So being a sellout as a black person, I can remember the first time I really recognized it in black history was when Frederick Douglass gave his 4th of July speech. At first, I believed his 4th of July speech he was a sellout because he was about black people working for themselves with opportunities that other black people did not have as he did, being in the South where they still had Jim Crow laws. Now, I do think that it benefited us in a part because the 4th of July speech, a lot of people don't know that that is the European Independence Day, and that's why we celebrate Juneteenth. Because when the 4th of July was established, we still had slavery in some parts of the South. Juneteenth is when slavery was abolished. In the literal terms, and even though it is abolished, I still do think that we are still enslaved with not having as much information and black people not being as educated, reading as much, and informing themselves.
Rowan.
A sellout is a person who is successful but does not look back from where they came. So they are successful but they choose not to go back to where they came from because they don't want to be a part of that anymore. That's what makes them a sellout, not success.
Action.
I feel it's a stigmatism, really. I think it's a lot of people who get to a higher place or become somebody, they tend to forget where they came from, and I think that's where most of that feeling or stigmatism might come from. Me, personally, I think it's nonsense. I think if you work hard enough and you achieve goals that you set forth for yourself, it doesn't matter. I mean, people are going to have their own opinions about anything anybody does nowadays, so as long as you're comfortable with the decision that you make and you work hard and you get to where you want to be in life, that's all that really matters. Me, I went back to school. I did what I have to do. I'm college educated, so you know, I got people, I got friends that say the same thing. You know, I forget where not really. You know, I still go back home. My mom still lives in the area. It's not anything like that. It's just that I want to better myself, and if you guys don't want to better yourself, then you stay where you're at. I chose not to stay there. So.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, the light-skin, dark-skin battle, it started with slavery, but it ended for some time within the civil rights era because we all, at that point, came together for a common cause, and we figured, hey, we're all having the same issues because in the eyes of the oppressor, we're the same color. But then after, I guess we figured after we got the rights that we wanted, we could kind of, you know, segregate again within ourselves, which then became this whole dark-skin, light-skin issue, which is the light-skin being better or seeming better to the dark-skinned person, the dark-skinned person looking like this evil force. But the thing is, we're all the same color.
And that's because they're closer to white, right? Right,
and that's because it's closer to white, which is also saying within ourselves that the whites are more dominant than we are, which in terms we all came from kings and queens before we came to this nation. So for us to till this day to have a battle within ourselves shows that we can't come together and for a common cause create something bigger than what we are, and we cannot return to the throne that we belong in. So there goes my...
Alright, go. So I do believe that today in Black America there is a difference between light skin and dark skin. I think there's a difference also be called African American and black. I do think that it goes back from slavery times when you had the house niggas and the field niggas. I do believe that it started from when the Europeans used to sleep with slaves and created these light skin. I do believe that most African Americans were dark, and it started from slavery and human trafficking during that time and period. I do think that the difference is alive and well, me being from the South, where racism is very alive. I do believe there is a big difference.